I hope you had a happy Wednesday, and I am welcoming you once again. Thank you for your time. I am Ambassador George Woods, and I will be leading the Bible study this evening. Howsoever, I have to start with my usual announcements. You have to know who we are in case you're a first-time visitor. We want you to be aware of where you're at. You're on a website for Renewed Life Fellowship. We call ourselves a family of God. We are a church where we call ourselves a family because God has us as family, as sons and daughters and brothers and sisters. So we call ourselves a family of God. We are located at 23750 Alessandro Boulevard. We have a unique service, which is a Saturday evening service at 6 o'clock. And it is exactly where the address I just gave you, 23750 Moreno Valley, California. It's a Saturday evening service. Before you ask, we're not a 7-day Adventist. We just chose to do it at a different time because most services are on Sunday. Everybody may not feel good about a Sunday, so we said, well, maybe they'll come out on a Saturday evening. So we have a Saturday evening service. I have a number to give you, 951-924-8828. That is the number to the church. Call us regarding whatever we feel as a church. We are a service to the community. Write that number down. Call. I'd say 9 times out of 10 you're going to get an answer early, late, or even in the middle because we answer the phone. But other than that, we do. If you don't answer the phone, leave a message. Somebody will get back with you, and we will try to help you address your problem because that's what we believe the church is for. The church is here for the community. The church is here to make the community better in any way that it possibly can. And so we ask you to call upon us. If you have a need in the community or something that you want to see get done, we will be more than happy to get involved with you and help you get it done. We have a Wednesday night Bible study by now. And it's every Wednesday night. We'll be on YouTube. We're on Facebook. And there is another streaming platform I can't think of right now. Howsoever, you can catch us here every Wednesday night. We have a very talented staff. So we rotate in our messages, we rotate in our Bible studies, and we rotate on our prayer line. So if you see me tonight and like my message, don't be disappointed if I'm not here next week because somebody will be here even more talented than me. If you see me and you don't like my message, tune in next week and you have somebody else that's even better and more talented than me. It's a win-win. You can't go wrong. We have a Monday night prayer line. It's a corporate prayer line. I'm going to give you the number, but most of all, I want you to know that we invite all, and especially the community, to join us in prayer. We understand that everybody's not saved. Everybody may be a Christian. Most people may be Christians, but they don't really follow as closely as they could the Word of God. So our prayer line is open to everyone to offer you prayer for whatever your situation is that you might need. Our prayer line is open to teach you how to pray if you don't know what to pray for. Our prayer line is to teach you who to pray to so that you're not misleading yourself or misguiding your prayers in the wrong direction to someone that's not going to answer them because they have no power. Our prayer line is for the community, for the sick and the shed-in, for those who are lost and homeless. Our prayer line is for anyone who is in desperate straits, physically, financially, mentally. The church is actually a great mental blessing for a lot of people. You may not think so because they say mentality is always done at a professional level. But God has wisdom that the world doesn't have. So I want to invite you to join in on our Monday night prayer line. Here's the number: 717-908-1834. You'll have to enter an access code, which is going to be 534280#. There will be someone come on the line and ask who joined. Just give us your name. If you have a prayer request, give us your prayer request. We will pray for you. If you don't have a prayer request, then join us and agree with us as we pray for others. If you want to know how to pray, just mute your phone and listen to us pray our way through. So I think we have a lot of opportunities as a church for the community, and we are sold out on the community. As a matter of fact, we have a baseball game coming up, an Angels game. The date hasn't been verified. Well, it has, but I don't remember it. But if you want to know what game we're going to, it's going to be shirt night. They're giving a long sleeve T-shirt with a hoodie. It's an angel shirt. So that night we will be having, so the church once again, we're in the community to help the community. We want, and rather than sitting at home letting your kids play video games, here's an opportunity for all the family to get out, go to an Angels game, eat popcorn, drink whatever, and just have a great time. Because that's what we're supposed to do, have a great time. I think that's all of my announcements so far. So we're almost ready to get into the Bible study. If you watch my Bible studies before, I usually stay in one chapter at a time. I try to keep it as simple as possible because I want the enlightenment to fall on all of us. I don't want some people to get it and some people to miss it, and I don't want people to get confused. Most of you aren't going to follow me in the scriptures when I say move from this book to that book. I understand that. So I try to keep it simple. But this particular evening, I have been reading this week, and I've been led to use a couple of different books of the Bible. So I'm going to start this evening in Psalms 8. And I'm going to read Psalms 8, and then I'm going to make comments along the way. And so here we go. Psalms 8, verse 1. Lord, our Lord, how magnificent is your name throughout the earth. You have covered the heavens with your majesty. From the mouth of infants and nursing babes, you have established a stronghold on account of your adversaries, in order to silence the enemy and your avengers. I just want to stop here first of all because in the old days, in the Old Testament, I guess I should say, by him giving honor to God's name, that was him acknowledging that God is the almighty, true, living God, and he's giving him reverence. Something that we don't spend a lot of time doing, referencing God. We believe God, and we believe he can do anything, but we don't reverence him. We don't give him his just deserts for all of what he can do and all of what he does for us. We kind of take him for granted, to be perfectly honest. So I want you to see the customs from the Old Testament on how they honored God before they even spoke to him or asked for anything or gave him thanksgiving. They referenced him in the way that he should be referenced as the God of all times, as the true living God. So I just wanted to get that out there, and then we're going to move on. When I observed the heavens, the work of your fingers, the moon and the stars, which you sit in place, what is a human being that you remember him? A son of man that you looked after him? You made him less than God and crowned him with glory and honor. I got to stop there again, because what he is saying is when he had an opportunity to look at the world, he saw everything that God had done. He saw everything that God had made, the trees, the planets, the birds, and he has taken us and made us a little less than he was. And by doing that, what he has done is we know that God is up here and we are down there. We cannot compete with God. We are not his equal. We're not even in the same ballpark with God. He is totally on his own. But what God did when he rose us to be a little lower than him, what he did was he put us at the top of the food chain. He made us over everything. And when I say he made us over everything, he made us over everything. He made us over Satan. When he made us, we were designed to rule over Satan on this earth. Just like he ruled over Satan in heaven, he brought us down here to rule over Satan on earth. We didn't quite get it right, but that was the intentions of God. So I just want you to know where we sit in the pecking order. Where we sit in the pecking order is number 2, which is above all things. And then it says that, number 6. Number 5, you made him a little less than God, and you crowned him with glory and honor. So he made us right up under him. He made us number 2 king. He made us a number 2 king. Now I have a story about glory, because when I first started studying the Word, I didn't understand how come they had to eat the fruit of the tree before they realized they were naked. And it was explained to me that they were covered by God's glory, so they never saw their nakedness. Which led me to the next question is, well, what is God's glory? What did it look like? Was it clothing? What was it? So the story that I referenced was the story of Moses when he brought the Israelites across the Red Sea into the desert. And he told them, stay here, I'm going to get instructions from God. And he went away. And he was gone for like 40 days. He was gone so long that the people had given up. They thought he had left them. And they had even asked his brother Aaron to take all the gold that they had and make them a god, make them a statue god. Because they just they thought he was through. So anyway, after the 40 days, he's coming back down out the mountains. And it's nighttime and they're all sitting around the fire. And they look up and there's a bright glow coming at them. And it's coming at them and they're getting scared. And they're getting up and they're beginning to run. And Moses hollers out to him and he says, wait, it's only me. Don't be afraid. I'm not coming to harm you. It's only me. And that what they saw was the glory of God. He had been with God for 40 days. In their 40 days, he took on God's glory. And what they saw was a light. They didn't see a person. They didn't see a body. They didn't see a shape. They saw a light. And that's God's glory. And it was so terrifying to the Israelites, they made him wear a veil over his face. They were that scared of him. They told him they didn't want to have anything to do with God. They wanted him to talk to God. They did not want to deal with God. So that's just a little story about how God's glory is. Now, when we lost that glory, when we fell to Satan, we lost our glory, and now we're still covered in clothes. So I'm going to move on. I just wanted to share that. Number 6, you made him rule over the works of your hands. You put everything under his feet, all the sheep and oxen, as well as all the animals in the wild, the birds of the sky, and the fish of the seas that pass through the currents of the seas. He gave us everything. He put us over everything. When we don't realize how powerful we are, we don't realize where we stand in regards to everything in the world. We have authority over everything. And it's hard to believe because that's not the way the world is operating now. But it is operating like that when you believe in Jesus Christ, because he came and took our glory back. And he gave it to us, and we live through him and his word and his name. So we do have our glory back, we have our authority back, we have our honor back. And this is a lot to receive for somebody who just says, I'm a Christian. You don't really realize who you are. You don't really realize how much power you have. You don't really realize all the abilities that you have. As you study the word, it's going to sound fantastic to you when he tells you that you can say to a mountain to be moved and it'll be going in the sea. That sounds incredible. But you have that ability. You have to grow into it, of course, but you have that ability. And that's the way that God crowned us. That's where he wants us to be, and that's who we are today. This was written in the Old Testament, and that's who we still are today. We are still the authorities over this earth, and we still rule and reign. We have to learn how because we've never been taught. We have to learn how because Satan has deceived us. We have to be taught how because we were taught to do something else. We were taught to we got praise for learning to do things on our own. Oh, you can walk. Proud of you. You did a great job. Oh, you can talk. Proud of you. Every time you made an accomplishment, you were built up. In the realm in the spiritual realm, God is the ultimate spirit, and we are built up through him. We're not built up through the world. I'm not built up because my parents think I'm a great guy, or my teacher thinks that I'm super smart, or my girlfriend thinks that I'm pretty. That's not the build-up that we're looking for. We're looking for the build-up of the spirit in the person, the character of the person. That's the build-up that God gives us. So I'm going to finish this one off. Lord, oh God, how magnificent is your name throughout the earth. Once again, he goes back and he references God and his astonishment of how magnificent he is. Once again, that's that reverence that I was saying that we don't often give God. That was practically, they wouldn't go without giving God in the Old Testament. He was a little closer to them there, and he spoke to them personally, even though they never saw him. We live through Jesus Christ, our new covenant. So if they have that kind of reference and God doesn't change, if he's the same yesterday, today, and forever, then we should have that same reverence toward him. If God is the head and you're looking to receive from God, so every day if God is at having breakfast at his table at 10:30 and you're looking to receive from God, you need to be at that table at 10:30 if you want to ask him for something. If you want to ask him to help you do something or to lead you in the right way, you need to meet him where he's at every day. Because once he gets up and moves, you may not see him again. You may not see him for a week. But you know every day at 10:30 he's going to be at that table. So that's why you need to find out how to reference the top person that you need to see, which is God, and to follow his will and his way and what he's teaching you and how he wants you to do it. So I am done with Psalms for tonight. The next book we're going to go to is, incidentally, I got a new Bible. Brand new. I love it. The next book we're going to go to is the book of James. We're going to come into the James 1, and we're going to go 1 through 25, or 26, I think it is. I'm not even going to go all the way through James. I'm going to start at 5. James is only 1. First chapter, verse 5. Now, if any of you lacks wisdom, he should ask God, who gives to all generously and ungrudgingly. It will be given to him, but let him ask in faith without doubting. For the doubter is like the surging sea, driven and tossed by the wind. That person should not expect to receive anything from the Lord, being double-minded and unstable in all your ways. So we find out just in that one verse, or that one set of verses, that you can't be double-minded with God. You have to believe. Your belief is what's going to get you where you want to be with God. Your belief is what's going to make God show up in your life. Your belief is what's going to get you the blessings, but you cannot be double-minded. You can't say, God, I need you to pay my bill because I don't have the money, and then say, I'm going to go out and borrow some money from my brother, and I'll pay him back next week. That's double-mindedness. You're not really trusting God. You went and made your own decision about how you want to handle the situation without including God. You're taking things into your hand and putting God on the back burner, and that's not where God belongs. God should always be first and foremost in everything that you do, and everything that you want to do, and everything that you think about doing. So don't be double-minded. It's the first part of James. Let's move on. Let the brother of humble circumstances boast in exultation, but let the rich boast in humiliation, because he will pass away like a flower on the field. For the sun rises together with the scorching wind, dries up the grass, its flowers fall off, and its beautiful appearance perishes. In the same way the rich person will wither away pursuing his activities. Blessed is the one who endures trials, because when he has stood in the test, he will receive the crown of life that God has promised to those who love him. Okay, let's stop right there for a quick second. What I'm getting at here is God has promised to those who love him the crown, to receive the crown of life. So what he's saying is, if you don't love him, you're not going to receive the crown of life. And if you do love him, that you will receive it, and he's made it a promise. So there's no taking it back. God's not an Indian giver. God's not a liar. God does not say things that he doesn't mean. So you've already been promised the crown of life just by doing what he asked you to do. Each person is tempted. Okay. No one undergoing a trial should say, I'm being tempted by God, since God is not tempted by evil, and he himself does not tempt anyone. But each person is tempted when he is drawn away and enticed by his own evil desires. Then after desire has convinced, it gives birth to sin. And when the sin is fully grown, it gives birth to death. I can attest to this because I had something that happened to me today that I'm going through something, but because I'm going through something, it opens up an opportunity in the world for them to exploit it. So what I'm going through now, I'm receiving emails from people saying, you should sue. Did it happen because of this? Tell us your circumstances. I know what happened to me was not because of what they say it is, but because I'm a human being. For a hot 30 seconds, and I have to admit, for a hot 30 seconds, I thought about what lie can I tell these people to get some money. See, totally off the grid. But all you need is just a little inkling to get started, and then it will grow into sin. It will grow into furtherance. I quickly snubbed it out, and I was definitely surprised at my thought processes. But I am a sinner saved by grace. I am only here because God allows me to be here, and I am entitled to some mistakes, but that one really kind of threw me. So I just wanted to say I can relate to that one today especially. Don't be deceived, my dear brothers and sisters. Every good and perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, who does not change like sifting shadows. By his own choice, he gave us birth by the word of truth, so that there would be a kind first fruits of his creatures. My dear brothers and sisters, understand this. Everyone should be quick to listen and slow to speak, slow to anger, for human anger does not accomplish God's righteousness. Therefore, ridding yourselves of all moral filth and evil that is so prevalent, humbly receive the implanted word which is able to save your souls. And we all know that we have this, we like to say, don't let me act a certain way, or don't let me go there, and I don't want to do this. We all know that we have a time when we don't have control over ourselves, where we want to say things we shouldn't, or act in ways that we shouldn't. And this is the clearest message possible that he has given us to let us know that you should be quick to listen and slow to respond. Because somebody says something you don't agree with does not give you the right to respond in an inappropriate way as a Christian, as a child of God. It's like you have to be able to hold your water. That's the best way I can put that. I'm going to move on. But be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. Because if anyone is a hearer of the word, and not a doer, he is like someone who looks in his own face in a mirror, for he looks at himself and goes away and immediately forgets what kind of person he was. But the one who looks intently into the perfect law of freedom and preserves it, and is not forgettable hearer, is not a forgettable hearer, but a doer who works, this person will be blessed in his own. Now, when I first read that, not recently, but when I first started reading in James, I read that, and I thought to myself, how do you look in the mirror and turn away and forget what you look like? And we all do it all the time. As soon as something happens to us, we want to say, woe is me, and I'm in trouble, and somebody help me. But if you look at what we read previously in Psalms 8, we are just below God. We are at the top of the food chain. So we have to learn to act as if we are a child of the King. We are heirs of the kingdom. We don't forget, if you forget what you look like, then you start worrying about how to pay bills, if you can get a house, what happened to the car note, my water's gone. That's not a child of God. That's not an heir to the kingdom of heaven. Prince Charles' children don't worry about how the car is going to be paid for, because they know it's going to be taken care of, because he's the king. We have the ultimate king that we're serving. Don't forget what you look like. When these trials and tribulations come your way, don't forget that you are the king. It only takes the blink of an eye to change anything or every situation in your life. Anything and every situation in your life can change in the blink of an eye, because you serve the Most High God and because you are an heir to the kingdom. So if you keep yourself in the right frame of mind and focus on God, the troubles of the world shall not bother you, because there are no troubles for you. You're not in the world. You're a child of the Most High. So, okay. If anyone thinks he is religious without controlling his tongue, his religion is useless, and he deceives himself. Pure and undefiled religion before God. The Father is to look after his orphans and the widows, and in their distress, to keep them unsustained from the world. But I think I missed where I was going. Either I'm in it. No. Either I missed the verse, or here we go. Okay. If anyone thinks he is righteous without controlling his tongue, his rebellious is useless, and he has deceived himself. So this is very important, because controlling your tongue goes back to acting and treating yourself as if you were a king. If you can't control yourself, you can't expect to receive from God. Because if you're a king and you're out here having a temper tantrum like a kid, you can't receive like that. You have to control your tongue. Let's put it like this. Everything that happened in the world, God did by speaking. He did using words. He said what he wanted to transpire. You are a child of God, and you are made in his own image, and you are an heir to his kingdom. So whatever you say will be transformed in your life. And words can change a person's life for good or for bad. You can destroy a young person's complete future with the wrong words. You won't be anything. You're never going to be anything. Your daddy wasn't anything. Will destroy a child. You can lift a child up to make him the first black president of the United States by encouraging him and letting him know that if you continue to do well and you study hard, you can be whatever you want to be. You can lift him up. That's the power of words. And those are the words that you have to learn to speak. You have to be a doer of these words. You can't just speak them. You have to learn to transform yourself and to be someone who is humble and keeps his word, and someone who is humble and does what he says he's going to do, someone who's willing to help people. I'm running out of time, and I'm through with my verses, but I want to share this one little thing with you about, there's two words that the Bible uses, and it's grateful and joy. Gratefulness and joy. When I wake up in the morning, I'm grateful because I didn't have to be here. I'm grateful that God gave me an opportunity. I'm grateful that I have a chance to go out and do his will. I'm grateful that I am able to do as I see fit. I am grateful that I am alive. That is a different viewpoint of waking up in the morning and thinking, oh, I don't want to go to work because it's a terrible day and I wish I didn't have to do that. When you carry gratitude with you, you'll find that your life is a lot better and you have meaning and reason for living because you're grateful. You understand that this is not guaranteed. This isn't automatic. You have an opportunity, and so you take advantage of that opportunity. And the other word I want to share with you tonight is joy. Joy is a part of your persona. Joy is a part of your personality. Joy looks like, how you doing today? It's a beautiful day out there. That's a beautiful sweater you're wearing. I like the jacket you have on. Your hair looks very nice. How about them Dodgers? Joy is something that is presented in a way that's upbeat, forward, and progressive. Something that is complimentary and uplifting. Joy is something that you transfer into other people, and it comes from the personality that you display when you see these people. Those two words I have been carrying with me for about a month now, and I try to exercise them regularly in all occasions and all time. So I am coming to the end of my study. I think I'm out of time. And if I don't stop now, they may cut me off automatically. But I thank you for the privilege of sharing with you this evening. I'm going to pray us out. Father in heaven, I pray that this message went forward. I pray that this lesson was received. I pray that it touched a multitude of people in a multitude of ways because you are a multiple God. And I pray that you continue to bless us and go forward with our messages, our lessons, and let us continue to grow in you on a daily basis. In Jesus' name, amen. Once again, I thank you for your time and have a great